Well, I'm your ice cream man, baby. Stop me when I'm passing by.
Well, welcome to my whiskey den on this solemn day that we lost Eddie Van Halen. We seem to have also lost David from Wyoming Whiskey. So we had to pull an audible. We had to change everything up, and we're going to be tasting some fantastic scotches that I would call on the higher end of things that aren't the automatic first thing you're going to see when you go to the liquor store. Maybe they have it behind a case. Maybe it's just one of the upper echelon things that's going on. So that's what we're doing. Oh yeah, what do we usually say here? Thank you for stopping in. We appreciate all of you for doing that. Remember that this is a public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king. And Mike, what do we usually tell the lovely listeners at this point before we start having too many drinks to forget?
Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment down below, stay active in the chat, share the video. Please join us every Monday night, usually Monday nights, when we have our live episodes. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up.
Yes, go down there. Hit that little thumbs up button. We like those things. Now, everyone in the chat, at Oscar, we saw you hiding in there before. Good to see you. Aaron, good to see you here early. John, you too. We are glad to see some of you guys in. Oh, Wheels just popped in. Good to see you guys here nice and early. But we, and not apparently not all of us have everything because we got a little excited with some of the samples. But we're going through a plethora of fantastic whiskeys. We want to know what fantastic whiskeys or scotches you folks at home are drinking. So what the hell do you guys have in your glasses at home? And what should we kick this night off with? Boys.
Whiskey?
Yeah.
I'm going to gamble. I'm going with one. I say we go with one that wasn't even on the list. They're not on the card. They worked themselves into the fight at the last minute. I say we go with Single Cask Nations. Isla Blended. Wait. Which one did we... Ben, there was one you didn't want us to screw up first. Was that the Glenfiddich?
Sure.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah, you said you might want to have the one. That's fine.
Right.
I can do. That's a Madeira cask.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can do. Let's see. All right, I can do not Madeira, but I've got a.
Ooh. Oscar's drinking a 15-year cask strength Clynelish. Very nice.
There you
Nice
go.
one. I've got a Edredauer cask strength 2011, matured in first fill sherry butt for 9 years.
Okay.
From the Ultimate.
So Mike's jumping left because we all don't have the same one on this one, but that's because we get excited. So Ben, you are the one that picked up this Glenfiddich. It's an Age of Discovery 19-year-old Madeira cask. And it's 40% alcohol by volume.
Yeah.
Was this one that stood out to you when you tasted it or smelled it the first time? Because obviously I think you hit up that bottle.
Yeah, the nose, this is like dessert whiskey. The nose, really sweet, really fruity. The palate as well. It's just, I hate to say a little disappointing being 40%, but at the same time, the flavors that come through, well worth it. And this is it's a travel retail exclusive, so not available here in the U.S. You're going to have to procure this one from Europe.
From
Europe.
Lovely,
it's a lovely Glenfiddich.
See, Mr. Fancy Pants getting the stuff from overseas. So that's what we said. Yeah. These are ones that everyone might not get their hands on.
Okay.
Wow, this is really neat on the nose. It smells like the little bit of flatness to it. Mm-hmm. It smells a little bit like the Clynelish, like a little bit of flatness. But I'm loving like the cherry that's rising out from underneath it. Honey, caramel brown sugar, a little bit of frosting. Wow. Maybe even like a little raisiny note hidden underneath a lot of it on the
Yeah.
nose for me. Am I missing anything, Ben? What are you?
I mean, the biggest thing that jumps to me is this huge candied pear note. I mean, classic Glenfiddich is known for that pear note that comes across, and this just is like it's intensified, but it's a candied. It's a really sweet pear note to it.
I would agree with you.
You get that Madeira cast dancing all around. The sweet, the raisins, the syrupy, almost like a peach syrup kind of note to it.
So I'll ask you, since you two have the same pour, and because of the quite honestly, we're over 5 minutes in. Really shitty news today, because this is a bad year for musical heroes from my formative years. What Van Halen song is that whiskey?
Ooh.
Oh man, those are tough questions.
I can tell you this one hit me. The Edgedower cast strength that I've got, I can tell you exactly what it is because it struck me. I'm like, this is their version of Pretty Woman, the full extended version with all the sound effects and everything to begin with. Because you're like, okay, all right, what's going on here? And there's a lot of classic to it, but yet a lot of new and hard driving. And this whiskey does not mess around.
Man,
now, I'm not going to be as in depth, but I'm going with You Really Got Me. Because, like, right on the nose, you're already intrigued. You're pulled in, and it does have me right now. Oh, yeah, it's deep and it's rich. Sorry, but that's just the correlation that came to my mind at that moment. Oh, I'm getting like a weird dusty bubble gum. We need sugary note. Ben's lost and thought he's going to come back in 10 minutes with the answer.
Yeah, I think for me, getting more late or a little bit later in there, When It's Love, I think was that late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in
90s,
that stretch. Yeah, because this just has more. That song had a little bit more of a pop vibe to it, and that's what this is, just sugary sweet pop, and so.
So were you guys okay with Van Hagar?
Yeah.
I think at that in particular time, I was not as caring about this situation. As I got older and began to care more so, yes, I did. It bugged me. I was one of the people it bugged. So I'll just be honest.
Yeah.
Really, people in the chat, did Van Hagar upset you?
I was fine with it. I thought it was a good marriage, but I saw Van Hagar in concert and I did not like it. Mostly because, not that I had a problem with Sammy Hagar, but I didn't need to hear 20 minutes of Sammy Hagar's B-sides during a Van Halen concert. And that just really, I don't know, just kind of that, I didn't care for it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mike. So what are you getting on the nose for what you're drinking right now?
The Edgedower?
Yeah.
Well, I finished it, so I'll go back and tell you. It's very.
Jesus.
It's well, I'm just did a small pour of it. This is one of those bottles I'm not going to get another one ever. But no, it's got the stereotypical, really fruity, plummy, dense, desserty flavors that you get out of the whiskey. But then that cask strength does give it a really nice, a very nice punch. But it's not a slap. It doesn't choke you or anything like that. But it's a nice hit. It's 57.1. And I say I'm a fan of it. I wish there was a way that they could make a lot more of it. Unfortunately, they will not. So I'm very stingy with it.
That's very fair. It's very sugary, but then it has a nice malt that really takes over about halfway through. And it's just darker, rich, sugary part that comes through on it. Is there a little bit I feel like there should be just like a titch of like peat hidden in the background of this. But it might not be. It just could be this earthy note. Not like
I don't know. I don't know if Glenfiddich's using. I mean, some of these Highland and Speyside, they have a tiny titch of peat, in their malting. But I'm not sure on Glenfiddich with this one. I know it spent 17 years. You read that right? Yeah, 17 years in oak casks, and then they put I think it's the last 2 years they put in the Madeira.
Yep, I do remember that in the description.
But
wow, the Madeira starts it's hopping around on the sides, quite a bit. Like it really picks up the flavor and keeps it bright and moving around. Hey Ed, it's good to see you. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. And
Aaron Hardiman asked a question there. Would I buy the Glenfiddich again? Yes, I would, because it's unique. It's really unique for any other scotches that I've had, and it makes a great dessert whiskey, honestly.
That's the only thing compared to some other stuff we've had right now. It's not as rich as I think it could be.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it at 40. This would be something like, even if it were at 47, it could be getting into the mind-blowing category where it really depthens like some of the flavors that are going on, or maybe get some of them a little bit richer than what we were going for before. But
so how disappointing? I mean, you said you wished it was a higher proof, but are you happy with the whiskey? I mean, forget the proof. Are you happy with the whiskey?
Honestly, I am, and I think, and really, in thinking about it now, Patrick brings up a good point, because maybe if you went up even to 46 or 47%, it might be too sweet, and it might be a little too intense. Really, right here is it's enjoyable without just being cloyingly or sickeningly sweet. So. 40 might be right for this, really. Nothing is really spiky, not a lot of high notes, and it has a lot of threads that I wouldn't say pull all the way from beginning to end, but they overlap each other. But they're very, very married together on this one. Yeah.
Kind of like the band members of Van Halen.
Minus the lead singers.
Yeah, minus the lead singers.
I will say, I heard a few seconds when it came out, when they had, what's his name? Gary Sharon. I heard a few seconds played on the radio. It's like, I'm out. That is the only Van Halen album I never bought.
Who was the guy they got from Extreme?
Gary. Yeah, Gary.
Is that
Sharon.
Gary? Okay. Yeah. I'd never heard the album. I had a good friend of mine. I mean, that was his. Growing up, he was diehard Van Halen, and he's seen him, all the way. And he actually said in concert he was pretty good. He wasn't that bad, but that was his take. I never saw him, but
yeah.
So, sometimes people never live up to the memory of what you have, or can never be that same thing, and it does affect things, because I have had bands where I'm getting to the point now where they've been around for 30 years, so. There might be 2 or 3 people from the original band, and everyone else is kind of sectioned on or off at different points, or left and came back to the band again. But yeah, that's a long time. A lot of bullshit can happen in that time frame.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of that.
Emily wants to sample all the Madeira finishes. Well, you know what? I have not had a bad Madeira finish yet.
No.
So you can just line those up in front of me as well too, because hasn't been a bad one of those ever so far.
I think Emily needs to work at a liquor store, and it'd be a guide for people.
That would be I think that's a great job for you. We have to get her a second job.
With her authoritative nature.
And
you will listen to my recommendations.
Let me take you to the back room.
And
tonight, you like this whiskey.
And tonight we were gonna have David on. We were also gonna bring Nancy Fraley on later on in the episode to talk about stuff that she did for Wyoming and other things. But we're not doing that anymore. But guess what? She's here anyways. We will take her on the Super Scotch stream. Thank you for stopping in, Nancy. Yeah. How has your day been so far?
Oh my God, I'm beat. I look horrible. I mean, I've been got a couple Hank 3 cap on, and from going through about 200 samples today of Wyoming whiskey, and I'm just
Just the way you said that sounds 100% accurate.
Oh God, yeah. No, it's been a good day. It's hard work, and I'll probably won't be on too long tonight. I'll probably have to cash my chips in before too long. Got a
Hey,
long week ahead, but
nothing wrong with that. And what are you doing this week?
I am finishing up blending season at Wyoming Whiskey. So the barrels go into dormancy at 45 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is the weather is fairly decent here this week. It's in the 70s and low 80s.
Oh.
So the cold weather is about to hit those. So
I was going to say it's right around here. It's about at the 40s anyways. So yeah, I'm not surprised you're doing that.
Finish up all the work before the winter comes, and it'll be spring again before we can do anything else. So I am having some of that 8.8-year-old Outrider, though the bottled version tonight.
The bottled.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I gave you the cask sample version, didn't I?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's what it says on there. So
How's that one coming along? Are y'all getting that dialed in for the 2021, the Outrider?
Oh, Outrider for 2021 will not. I'll not really get to work on that until next year.
Okay.
It'll be probably 9.8 years old at that point. So, well, it will be more probably. Time keeps marching on.
While we have you here, we might peg you for a question, but then we're also gonna ask you kind of along the lines of what we're doing tonight. But we went to like a super Scotch stream is what we went to, so we're tasting a bunch of different higher end, more exciting scotches. Ben and I just got done tasting the Glenfiddich Age of Discovery Madeira cask finish. And we did have a Signatory Clynelish 20-year-old cask strength that we were going to be looking at. And Aaron in the chat was wondering, and that would you know where the waxy notes in a Clynelish come from, and can it be reproduced?
Waxy notes.
Not to say that you know exactly what we're all talking about, because we're throwing so many at left field just as you walked into the game.
Yeah, well, I'm admittedly not on my best game tonight. After you've been doing 150, 200 barrels cask strength, you're not exactly on top of things. That said, the waxy note. My thought is some kind of lipid, either. Could be from the cask. Probably not that necessarily. Could be the entry proof or the distillation proof. Could add some of those lipids. That from if you go back further, that would result from a particular kind of fermentation that would allow for that. So. Could also come from the malt itself.
Mm-hmm.
There are a number of places where you would kind of get that waxy note, but my guess is that it's for some relation to a lipid.
Very cool.
Somewhere in the production process.
Nice.
Hope that helps.
Hey, that's right down the path.
I'm right there with me tonight.
So, what's a Scotch that you really enjoy that's not really like the baseline entry for something that's a little bit fancier, like maybe a Glendronach 21 or a Glengoyne 21? So what's a Scotch that excites you?
I tend to like some of the older Springbank expressions.
Nice.
I have to admit I don't have as much Scotch these days as I used to. I used to drink it a lot, but just I tend to kind of drink what I'm working with at the time. I tend to I like smoky, peaty things.
Okay.
So there were a number of the early on some of the Bruichladdich expressions that I really enjoyed, still do enjoy. I like a friend, unfortunately, who died a few years ago, left me, or I inherited her Lefroy stash.
Wow. Oh.
15-year-old, stuff, and older. God, I'm trying to think what else, what I've had recently. God, there was a Glendronach expression that I think it was like a 25-year-old or something I bought some years ago around Christmas time that I finished in cherry cask, which it was just luscious. I mean, it was like syrup going down, Oh man, but yeah, that's what are you guys having tonight in the way of malt?
A little bit of that.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
a little
say
all
that
over the place.
The target list got longer from what we originally talked about.
Yeah, it kind of jumped. So the Clynelish, the 20-year-old, that's cask strength. We're gonna do the Glendronach Parliament, the 21. The Kilchoman STR, that's finished in red wine casks. The Octomore 6.1. And the Single Cask Nation Isla Blended Malt, and a Bunnahabhain. What's the one? Mike,
Toichkata or Toichkata.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have that one in front of me, but I mean, it wasn't right in front of me.
What was the? Sorry to interrupt again. What was the one in the STR cask?
Oh, Kilchoman STR.
Kilchoman.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I like STR finishes.
Yeah.
Those ones from Kilchoman have been pretty special too. Usually very good.
They're another one, like you were saying, like Glendronach, that I like a lot of their profile. Like a lot of the whiskeys they're putting out, I wouldn't shy away from picking up if I was anyone out there. I mean, unless you're not a peat person or a smoky peat person, but it's definitely worth the money when you're trying some of their stuff.
Yeah, and they've got plenty of unpeated too for people that just want a strong Scotch.
That's very true. Yep. So that's what we're gonna try to see if any one of them stands out above the rest with what they're doing there. So, just kind of a left field fun stream when things don't go the right way.
Yeah. Sorry about that tonight, David.
It's not your fault. I was gonna make a Scooby picture of a Scooby-Doo frame where it's like, what happened to David? Oh, he just got lost like Nancy did. Maybe the Meads did it. Question mark.
I was going to say people get lost here in Wyoming. That happened to me back a few months ago in June. Probably recall that. You just never know if they're going to show up again.
Yeah, we just have like a Wyoming curse.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's not like the worst curse in the world. It's just like like an average normal curse.
Yeah,
like you have a limp the next day for a week or something.
Yeah, if you had to pick your curse, it's the curse you would pick.
Pick your poison.
That's right.
So, if you're cool with it, John had a question from the chat. He was wondering, can you avoid soapification by proofing down with certain types of water, filtered or UV or treated rainwater?
Yeah. So that's saponification.
Saponification. Sorry, it's tiny on my screen from when I bring it, and my eyes are bad despite the glasses.
Well, part of the thing that probably the best way to avoid that. Well. A few things. the question asked about types of water. Yes, more alkaline water is going to be an issue, and saponification. When you use that for your proofing water, cutting water, whatever you want to call it. So rainwater, especially areas that are a little bit more maritime, like where I live in California, for example. Most of the time we have a pretty clean water. I wouldn't say right now with all the fires, not very clean. But the thing about rainwater, it's assuming you don't have pollutants and that it's clean otherwise, is that it's very bright. It has really good acidity, and it actually can you do a light filtration and maybe do a UV filtration with it as well to get any microbial things out of it and such. That can make beautiful. It's wonderful for reduction, but probably the best thing to answer your question for to avoid saponification is to add the more lipids that you have, and the congener content and a distillate, the more of a chance that you've got for saponification happening as you're going from cask strength down to bottling strength. So the way to combat that, in addition to using a water with a little bit more acidity to it, would be to do it very slowly over time, and very slowly at the time that you're actually proofing. So the danger point for saponification, if it's going to happen, it's probably about 94 proof, 46% alcohol by volume. If it has more fat, more lipid content, then it could be higher even. It could be up to 50, even 52% ABV. 104 proof. That said, the rate at which so when you get to 94 proof, you want to go even slower. So that in the cognac world where this methodology comes from, it would probably, we're talking on the order of years, 5+ years to reduce. It could be 10 years even to do those reductions. Anytime I do it for whiskey, it's probably at the shortest amount of time, maybe about a month. The longest would be about a year or more. I will take those reductions. So anyway, I know that's kind of a windbag tonight.
No, hey, that's exactly explains what we were kind of going for as like at what point do you really need to start paying attention to that? And like I went to thought 94 all of a sudden becomes like a magic point for slow it down even more. So that's pretty interesting. No, we dig that.
Hope that answers that question.
No, that does. Ben, what do you? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Nancy. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was going to say I'm probably not going to be on here any more than a few minutes, if that's okay, guys. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything. I can come on here again. I just tonight I'm just beat.
Hey, we just appreciate you stopping by. You did not have to do that when you got done with the work, and I was just joking about that when I mentioned it. So hey, we'll take it though.
My hotel room.
So anyone else in the chat that has a question, next you put it up there. We'll get it answered here in the next little bit. Otherwise, we'll let you go get back to relaxing, getting prepared for the rest of the week, and probably another 100 or 200 barrels that you probably have to go through again tomorrow.
And it's going to be intense the next 3 days.
So when
I'm not complaining.
Say when you get done with this project at the end of the week after tasting all these whiskeys, and you're not going to be tasting anymore, what would you want to go out to for dinner? Like what restaurant would you want to go to? Is there a flavor or style that after blowing your kind of palate out for a week that you want to rejuvenate yourself with?
Yeah, hell yeah. It's called home.
Yes.
home cooking, Yeah, that's I have to admit, when I've been on the road, I haven't been on it nearly as much as I would be ordinarily because of COVID this year. But yeah, I just often when I get back home, I just want to be home.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want it quiet, or do you want it quiet, or do you like to just crank some jams and just let yourself get taken away with that?
I do both.
Yeah.
I like quiet, and I play, I drag my bass, one of my bass guitars out and jam for a little bit, and just kind of mellow out, as it were. But yeah, I think the main point's just being home and eating home food instead of restaurant.
Yeah.
It does make a big difference.
I know that's it's not a very sexy answer, but it's the truth.
That's fair.
It's the right answer.
Yeah. Because that is true. When you're traveling someplace and you're eating, it's more than you're eating out for like 1 or 2 days. By the time you get to like day 5 or 6, you're like, this place. You get something and you're like, this is not impressing me. Like like whatever. And you're almost at that point, like, well, we're going out. We should be having something great, and it's just not there.
Yeah, and I have to say here, and when I work in Kirby, where the distillery is 12 miles away from here, I'm staying in Thermopolis, and God help me, if I say this, I hope they don't throw me out of town or send me out on rails or something. But, yeah, food here sucks. You're just hard pressed to find anything that's edible, and I'm not a vegetarian, but I like a few vegetables when I'm on the road, just, to kind of keep my health up. And it's impossible to find anything that's not fried.
Right.
We have potatoes and it's fried. We have beans, but they're fried beans.
Yeah.
We also have pickles, but they're fried pickles.
Yeah, fried pickles.
Yeah, that's...
Well,
hold on here. I can't even read this right now. Hold on.
I got it. Yeah,
you got it. Because
thoughts on malolactic.
we're cleaning these things right now.
I think it. Yeah, I do actually have a lot of thoughts on malolactic fermentation. I'll just explain what that is for people that might not know out there. So, when you do a fermentation, you have usually what's your primary fermentation, which is the alcohol fermentation, and then if you can also let that go on to its secondary fermentation, where you're essentially allowing malic acid convert over to lactic acid, which is a lot softer on the palate. And that's done oftentimes for brandy. It's also with that you also get some diacetyl type of notes, those buttery type of notes. So let me to answer that question, let me talk about that for brandy distillation. And I know you're guys do whiskey, not brandy, but that's
we have a brandy section of sample bottles
right
over here, so it's okay. There's a whole section of brandy samples we have to get to.
All right. If you're doing a blend or creating a brandy, a little bit of malolactic fermentation in that blend, say with using something with the Similon grapes, some kind of varietal like that, just a little bit in that blend, and you do your primary alcohol fermentation with that, then your secondary malolactic fermentation. Just using a little bit of that in the blend will actually it gives a lot of rich mouthfeel, but the problem is it shortens the nose. So if you kind of translate that same methodology to whiskey, a little bit of that in a blend can really help to create a nice mouthfeel, fullness, fat, and such. But too much of it in a blend, you're probably going to really shorten your nose there. So, when you probably wouldn't want to do any more than maybe 2 to 5% in a blend.
Okay.
So.
That's
Or
interesting.
I'll put it that way. I wouldn't do that. For anybody else. That's what I would do.
Basically, you're saying there's better ways to get the mouthfeel that you want versus
no,
using malolactic fermentation.
That's a good tool. It just you just don't you kind of have to use the tool sparingly if that makes sense. You have to be very judicious with it, I guess.
Yeah, no, I can see it, especially with how you want the nose to be, is what invites you in the first place and gets you excited, and is also part of like a little bit your flavor tasting profile. To kind of shorten that up just limits the potential, Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't know if there are any other. I hope that answered the question. I don't know if there's anything else out there before I.
No, you're all good. You can leave anytime you want now.
Yes.
We won't hold you here against your will.
I would like to do a toast to Eddie Van Halen. I mean,
yes,
the world really lost one of the most brilliant musicians that ever existed. And when I heard about that, when I got off work, I was just I'm still floored. I don't know how to process that.
We were talking about that before too, because it really is. It really makes you pause and reflect when you lose somebody. But when you in the music industry, when you can reflect on like a whole discography and how it made you feel at different points, and you can pinpoint that, it just really makes it. It really makes it extra special.
Well, like the loss of Neil Peart this year too. I mean, God. I mean, whew. That was
2020.
Say the four of the largest influences musically: Neil Peart, John Prine, that one hurt.
Yeah,
Bill Withers hurt, and Eddie Van Halen, and that was all stuff growing up that was it was there for you the whole time.
Yeah,
and especially John Prine as I got older, then it was like, oh, this guy's goofy, he's funny, but then when you get older and you read his words, you're like, oh my God, it just. I mean, they are so true and unbelievable, but it's hard.
Unbelievable. And 2 days ago was the 50th anniversary of Janis Joplin's.
I saw that too.
As well, So, and then Marty Ballin a few days before that on the 27th. And anyway, I could go on about that forever. Oh my God, my idols are dying.
It's a tough thing like that. You remember the ones that do like they're 20, but like it's just struggling later on. It's tough because like I've started to notice that too. I was like, I think we were talking before about how like I've known some bands for like 30, almost 40 years now, and you start seeing the interchanging of people come in and out and how it affects everything, and it makes a big difference. But I'm still happy to go to the show if you're here and. I want to say 90% the same music from when you saw it with the different band members and stuff. Like, this is still really good. Like
some of these people have been around. I'm 50. I mean, they've been around my whole life. The Rolling Stones, or God help me when Keith Richards dies. I mean, I'm gonna.
Keith Richards is never going to die.
No, I think that's true. Actually, I think the man is going to be immortal.
Yes, he will be the last one standing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, hey, listen, guys. Cheers to you, and thanks for letting me hang out for a few minutes. And I'm going to get a little shut eye, and got a big day.
Good luck with that, and cheers to you, and cheers to Eddie, and everyone. Have a good night out there, and thank you for stopping in. And we'll happy to have you back on again here in a little while. And it's maybe when you don't have such a big week going on.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. When I'm back home in California, we'll do it again. All right.
Thanks,
Thank
Nancy.
you.
Take care, guys.
Okay, I switched over to just now, just so we got 20 minutes. We gotta get through 6 whiskeys.
20 minutes.
we can do this. Single Cask Nation Isla Blend.
Oh, okay.
Jump to that one. Pour that one out and tell me that you did not smell that from 3 feet away when you poured it.
I'm gonna have to go grab that one.
Okay, yeah, it's worth going to grab.
Yes, it is. And it's all gone.
It's all
Another one you can't get any more of.
Oh, I thought you meant your bottle was gone.
No, it's like I wish I would have bought a second one, because these, like it is. It's a single cask, so if you like it.
Did you change your name halfway through when she was talking and I didn't notice it?
I've changed it twice. I've actually got a bunch of Scottish names I was going to throw on there. So
I didn't catch that right away.
Yeah,
sorry.
Well, she started talking about the fatty
I
stuff
saw. I
stuff,
know.
so.
I know what it was referencing, but I just wasn't there yet. And good questions, Aaron. Thanks, and John. Thanks for tossing those ones in there. So we got someone who has answers or could have them. It's always good to ask them before asking us.
Yeah.
But Mike, what are you getting on the nose on this one?
Oh, beautiful smoke.
Oh yeah, it's like a clean smoke. Like
it is
better than when people think like going to Catholic mass and having that incense. Incense is dirty compared to this smoke.
Yes,
I hated incense at church. I'm sorry.
So so they had speculated, because all they knew it was a blend of distilled at various distilleries, but all Isla blend, but they didn't know exactly who it was. And they did do a vote on Single Cask Nation of what everybody thought it was. And most everybody is like, it's Clynelish and Lagavulin. And that was my guess too, just because of the type of smoke.
I would be 100% on that.
Because it's not bacony, it's not sea spray, it's not iodine.
No, first whiff, I was immediately, this is Clynelish. And then you dig in and you start getting some of those notes that I'm familiar with Lagavulin. So, yeah, I would easily say it's got to be those two.
I would agree. Like I'm almost thinking like a 60 to maybe 75% Clynelish. Because I get the Lagavulin, but it's much fainter than I was gonna say it's much fainter than even a normal Lagavulin is.
And this is 58.9%.
Holy shit, really?
And I mean, you can get your nose way down in there.
I never would have guessed that.
It is not, and when you do get your nose down in there, it's like, okay, I'm getting some meat.
Oh, and the other thing, people, this son of a bitch looks like water.
Yeah.
It is the lightest shade of light yellow in here. So, well, it's hard to tell because there's some 10-year-old malts that look this light too. So, I mean, not really sure on that one.
Did they say what kind of age on these blends?
It's 9 years old and first fill bourbon barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Distilled October 2010, bottled November 2019.
Ooh, Aaron, nice Battle Hill. That's nice.
Ooh, yeah.
I have one of their Bunnahabhain 4-year-old peated, which is pretty interesting from Battle Hill. Okay.
Did you try that Clynelish yet, Patrick?
I did, and the thing, and I'll say what I got most out of the Clynelish was that the cloves in that were very, very, I mean, they are in a lot of Clynelish, but that was like a very dominant note. Like it was very rich clove note for me.
And that
from
bottling was matured entirely in a sherry butt. So it was
really.
yeah.
I would almost, and it might be first, but I would have guessed second fill sherry because I'm not getting as much
Actually
sherry effect.
Yeah, they just
on
say
it.
a refill sherry butt, so
Okay,
they don't tell
okay.
you first or second. But
I would lean more towards second just because it's not as heavy or could be
Yeah.
fully dried into and not like a wet barrel,
right.
where you're getting a little bit of it in there.
Okay, so what Van Halen song is this?
God damn it, Mike! I'm going to be bad.
I'm
at
going to
this.
ask it, everyone.
I'm going to be bad at this game. I don't have it. I'm not good at it.
No, actually, this was what I really had a lot of fun with this when Daniel did this with the last at Christmas, the what do you call it? The calendar thing.
the
Advent
calendar.
The
Yeah,
Advent calendar. Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's right. Yeah.
He was taking every one of them and comparing them to a musician or a song or something. And I had a lot of good back and forth with him about that. That was a lot of fun. So, yeah, I'm totally in on this. This one
has just enough sea salt brine in it.
there's also,
Just
and this is
enough.
what sets it. Kalila's got that. There's
Just a little
like
leather.
floral wildflower note to it that sets it off for me.
I have my answer if you want me to tell you mine.
Oh, nice, John.
I'm going
Steal
with
all
I'm
the
going
whiskey
with
from him.
my
Sorry,
little
go
title right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this is for me.
I can see that. You get just enough, just enough bad boyness in it. I don't know if I call it the devil, but I mean,
It's just going to seduce you
slick.
into some.
Yeah, I was gonna
badness
say, I'm
because-
like, it's the slick devil. It's not like the
Yeah.
beat you over the head devil. It's the one that like tricked you into doing what you wanted to do anyways. Devil. So, Mike, what was yours?
So, well, that he made me second guess mine, but I'll stick
us,
with my original. Mine, Ice Cream Man. Just because of the build, it's like, okay, I can get in, I can go. Okay, oh, we're going for a ride now, are we?
Yeah.
and we're gonna rock out, and then it kind of mellows out on the end.
Just by the title, and not really
Yeah.
the song. Somebody get me a doctor because it has just a hint enough of that. I don't know. I don't want to call it like old hospital astringency note, but like
Abandoned
a little bit of
hospital.
that cleaning note that you get
Yeah.
from like an older hospital is just like hidden in the middle of that. Okay. Whoa, what the hell? I don't know what's going on, Aaron. I wasn't paying attention, but McOxenballs is a traditional Highland name. I missed something, and that very well may be true, but we will have to look into it.
I changed my name again.
Oh, again, goddamn, man, you're all.
Yeah.
Ever since they gave you the okay to do that, you got to pay attention to Mike. Turn the damn stream.
I just said I couldn't decide because I was going to do a
it's-
Scottish name and I couldn't decide on one, so I'm like, I'll just keep changing my name.
It's like a light rubber fire in the background. It's not like it's just like someone lit up the first edge of a tire and it's like put it out. Like it's not the Art Bag or the Lefroy
No.
like tire fire that you get off it. It's just so subdued.
You know what
Yeah.
though? There's a hint of even like a sandalwood and a little hint of kind of an incense note that I only ever get off of Octomore. And it starts making me second guess instead of Lagavulin, is there maybe a little Port Charlotte in this? It's more Kalila, but there's a little Port Charlotte.
I can.
It's making me second guess myself on that.
It's in the middle. I know exactly what you're talking about. Like I get it on the nose completely.
Yeah. It's a well, I don't want to use that word. It is a if I think of a good word, it doesn't sound stupid.
Smooth.
No, well,
No.
that's even worse than the first word I was. No, but it's very it's very inviting. It's an inviting Isla.
Yeah.
Yes, and we will work on that because I think
Yeah.
if she could change names as we were doing things, Emily would be very good at her job.
Yes,
She,
I would.
she should be able to do that for us while we're sitting
Yeah.
talking.
That's
She
what I
can
say. Yeah,
manipulate
while
our
we're
names.
talking,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then you become somebody else.
But this
thing's
one still has a little light. It has a lemon zest note to it too for me.
It's starting to change. I'm getting a little bit more where I had more of what I consider classic Kalila notes on top. That's starting to really fade away, and I feel like I'm getting more to the heart of. And this is where it's maybe taking me away from even Lagavulin and going more towards a Port Charlotte or something because there is more of a briny sea note. But then there's that dadgummit. Now I just got mint.
Yeah.
I usually get off Lagavulin. What the heck, man?
That's awesome. We'll just have to ask Josh and Justin when they come on. We'll have to get the full rundown on what's in here because it is hard to peg down. I feel like you guys hit it right. You feel like it's 2, at most 3, but probably 2 whiskeys in it.
It's supposedly 2.
Just 2.
Yeah.
And you can kind of tell that because you're getting just competitive notes, but I think they picked unique barrels to blend together because they are really picking up some interesting stuff. And it is changing a bit as it goes on.
It does. Yeah. It's just constantly changing its colors, I think, kind of. And then even on the palate, you take a sip, and then all of a sudden it takes like this hard shift and a hard turn into something where you think it's going one way, and it just boom,
and
completely turns. It's just really fun.
A nice leather is what I'm getting out of it now. It's starting to emerge right now for me.
It's also what I have found in drinking it, and I've had my fair share. It is not a palate ruiner, Isla. So anything you have after it's not. You don't feel like how some of them where it takes over all of your senses and everything to where you're like I'm wrecked. It doesn't do that. I wish that is something that was attainable or obtainable all the time. And that proof is sneaky.
It is just
it's
peaty,
really sneaky proof.
Peaty and smoky enough. And no, it does not taste anywhere near the 58%.
No.
But it's just peaty, smoky, and brininess enough to keep you around.
Yeah.
But the finish is only like a medium in length and in intensity. Like the flavors stick around, but there is a point where it kind of fades away.
Yeah.
I just put a few drops of water in here, and this just got really malty on the nose.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we're liking that one.
All right. What do you want next?
Because we got to keep rolling. Let's go Kilchoman STR matured in red wine casks. We've heard all sorts of good stuff about this from people. Does anyone in the chat know anything about it? Or anyone in the chat?
It's well loved.
What is something that you guys really, really like, or a good favorite fancy whiskey? If you want to come on, let me know. We'll have you on. You can tell us a little bit about the one you really like, or you can just hop on if it pops up there the way it should. But let's see here. Oh, way different. Nowhere near as bright on the nose or as friendly or effervescent. It still is, but it's different. The red wine really plays a neat factor on this one.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
it's not. Yeah, it's not even. It's neat because it's not. You can tell it's just a red wine. It's not any one of those other, I don't know, extra casks like sherry or anything like that. This is.
But it just it has there's a barbecue, almost like a cooking barbecue sauce to it. Not the meat, but you get the smoke and the sauce on there, and I get chocolate covered cherries.
With what you're mentioning, I get that with like an apple cider vinegar mop that you would have maybe some wine mixed in there.
And I get lime is the other thing I get, which I thought was weird. Or just, like a sharp citrus.
I'm getting like a medicinal cherry note in there.
Yep.
Kind of like cough medicine.
So I was going to say, I was getting like an herby. I wasn't getting the cough medicine. I was getting kind of like an herby note to it, but I did get the cherry cough medicine.
You need to save that sample in case you get sick.
Hey, that's what Ben's going to be
Maybe
sipping on
maybe
the
that's
rest of
the
the
right.
week.
Yeah, maybe that's
This
the
is the
right
cure.
combination.
Yeah, the STR, Aaron, is shaved, toasted, and recharred barrels.
All right.
All right.
Move that out of the way.
This is Dance the Night Away for me. I'll go ahead and hit you with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a grooving song, and this is just a grooving whiskey.
yeah. I like how I'm getting white pepper and black pepper in this on top of the brine as it kind of gets to the second half, besides the other flavors.
I'm going to go with Unchained.
I can see that. Yeah.
Wow. This is gonna be tough for me.
I get the wine, but the smoke, the char, is what really just kind of envelops everything a little bit.
I know.
It's not overpowering, but it's a sharp char.
Yeah.
And
like-
if this wasn't expensive for them to make, like, please make more of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just enough heat and spice in it.
Yeah, it's the right amount of everything. I would not want this at cask strength, because there's a
Danger.
sweetness and an oiliness to it that I think I wouldn't get.
Yeah.
That I like from this. I mean, I'd try it.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. Like, I can see you losing some of the sweetness and going to spicy, and it wouldn't
Yeah.
balance out as well as it does, because the front end is nice and sweet, and then it gives way.
Yeah, sweet and smoky.
I get that lime note you're talking about, Mike. And what it actually makes me think of is like a cherry limeade.
I could see that.
Let's see here.
Okay. Next, as Emily said, Crusader mode.
Yep.
That's true. Okay.
I've got this Latvian single malt that I picked up at a Quick Stop.
We do have one of those. We have a Czech one. The hammer.
We do have the check.
We
the
will,
check.
we will talk about the hammer another night. That's a whole
Yeah.
different thing. So, we're gonna finish out the three we got here. We got the Bunahaben, the Octomore, and the Glendronach. Where are we heading next? Let's go Glendronach.
Okay.
Let's go to the P-Funk All-Stars. Let's bring this one out. Let's see what it has to offer.
It's a lot of mad love. I know that.
This lovely 21-year-old from Glendronach, just down the road from McAllen, doing their own thing with their own sherry barrels, which I think have more flavor. If anyone wants to know, I would go with that over a McAllen. Not to say that I hate McAllen, but I feel these have much more flavor to them for the price.
Yes, there are better choices for the money.
Yeah, that's so pretty, man. That's so pretty. I'm hot for teacher right now.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. That was the one I was. That was one where I was going to go for this.
That's what I was thinking. Got it bad, got it bad, got it bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think your clock is slow.
This is it's so nice and rich, and it's different flavors compared to
Give me
the
something
peat
to
and
ride
the other
on,
stuff.
man.
And it's really standing up to the other peaty kind of notes that were in the rest of it. This is
Yeah.
Yeah, that just like wiped the Kilchoman away right off the palate. Just
Yeah. It takes it
gone.
off the nose, takes it off your palate.
man.
yeah, it's cherry, little strawberry, raisin, little apricot. There's a lot of fucking fruit in this, man.
Yeah,
this is a fucked up fruit salad.
But it is more cherry and strawberry and lighter fruit versus the darker fruit initially for me.
Yeah.
And then it develops into the darker fruit. Yeah, like you said, it's a fruit cup.
Yeah, this is like a how do I put that? This is like a whirlpool where you're on the outer rims and you're getting all these light fruits. There's golden raisins. There's these strawberry, this cherry note, and then you get sucked down into the core of this thing, and you just get pummeled with these dark, rich fruits.
And
oh man, there's dates,
like a dark molasses, and the dates because it's a dark sugar note.
Man, and I think out of all of these that we've had so far, this is the only one that you could buy last week. You could buy it today, and you'll be able to buy it in a month.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I would not hesitate to get this again. I really wouldn't. If it comes up and the price is decent, it is so very worth it.
Oh,
candied orange. There's like dried apricots.
Oh, I just totally got all that shit out of my taste when I did it, man. The bright apricots. It was wow.
You mainlined it.
I did. I mainlined it. Yeah, and
I'll freebase this stuff, man.
What, Mike, about what do you pay? Because I know around here, I think this is like gets to the 180-ish, 200 and under range.
Give me about 20 seconds, and I'll tell you, because I ordered it overseas.
Oh, okay.
I think it's about the 150.
Because I saw it in Wisconsin, because I'd had it in Wisconsin for the first time, and it was like, oh, I got to get that, and I saw it at a Total Wine there, and it was like 220, 230 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here.
Most of the times I've seen it, it's been like the 180-ish, but I have seen it, Ben said like 150. I think for 200 or under, or anything under 200, it's a pretty decent price tag for a 21-year-old.
Yeah, let me do a conversion here. In today's dollars.
The front end is just so sugary and
so I paid
creamy caramel.
I paid 124 pounds for it, which in today's dollars is 160.
That's a fair price.
Yeah.
Which again for this whiskey is really, really good.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think stateside you're going to see 180 to 200 plus typically
Right.
for it. So
Yeah, 'cause it was even and the shipping, because I'd ordered 2 bottles, so the shipping was split, and it was still per bottle. It was still less than anywhere I can get it in the States.
Oh
Granted,
my God.
it's 700 milliliters versus 750, but whatever.
that average out what about like a pour and a half basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 ounces. It's 2 ounces.
The apricot and pear is
Yeah.
so bright and friendly on this.
Yes.
Man, this is okay. I'm gonna be honest. I'm surprised this has flavor toned out everything we've had before.
Yeah.
It's just slapped it right out of my tongue.
This was like, people are doing things about you only need 5 whiskeys, and it's like, what's the special one you reach for, or what's the one to impress people? I think you could impress people with this, but I think this is definitely a special one that you remember when you drink it. You don't regret ever having it. You don't drink 3 ounces of it at a time, because that's just, and it's not intense like Abelauer or Abuna intense, where you're like, I submit, I cannot have more than 1 ounce. You just, and it's not that it's so rich. It's just that there's a lot there in a little bit.
It has such a nice finish. Man, it's creamy, spicy. Just all the little different flavors going on. The fruits, just the depth is fucking
You
wonderful.
could spend a lot of time trying to break this one down because there's
Yep.
so much packed in there, and it's all integrated so well.
Yeah.
Just because it has
for a reason.
Parliament in there, I just think of Atomic Dog, or part of PCU, where George Clinton meets the one chick and he like licks her hand. He's like, "Roof, ain't nothing but the dog in me, baby." Like, I feel that way about this whiskey. Damn, like it is. This is wow, really, really impressive. Like
It is, and I've only had a few pours all by myself, and the rest of this bottle, and I'm at half,
and
has been shared, and that's the best way to drink it.
It's very aromatic, but it's not. What's awesome is it's not flower aromatic. It's fruit aromatic.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that is like a lot of times you get the flower aromatics, and this is like all fruit aromatics. This is great. All right, Crusader Speed. Who's next? What do we have left?
Macallan, who?
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, and I don't know which one it was, but I agree with you, John. Like I don't hate Macallan. I just don't find them to be. They don't blow my doors off. You know, when I have their stuff, it just doesn't. Yeah, oh, definitely not for the price. That's not fair. So, do we end on the Bunnahabhain or the Octomore? Still have to get the stuff.
I would think.
Yeah, probably Octomore. It's not the peatiest of them, but
okay. So let's do the Bunnahabhain next.
We're gonna do them both, are we?
Oh yeah, well, why not? Super Scotch stream for a reason. That means you just keep drinking. That's right, you people in the chat. You just keep drinking too. I want to see some cheers and some glasses up in the air. Tilt one back. Keep up with us. That's the point of the show. Ooh, classic cut. Okay, Oscar, you may have me there. There's some special ones that I think are nice, but like I just feel the price bites me in the ass, and I just have an issue with it.
I used to keep Macallan 12 always stocked in my house because I loved it a lot, and it also helped that my Costco had it all the time, and it was a little under $40 for the longest time. Then it went up to like 45, and then they stopped carrying it, and then every time I see it, it was 65 on up.
Yep.
Like, well, okay, I'm out. It was pretty easy to drink at that, but it seemed like they raised there was a big jump in their prices. And it's not bad. It's kind of like, well, we're raising the price because we can, and you're still going to buy it.
Ooh.
And I know Ed at Rock Gut would argue this with me all day, but I loved Macallan before they started getting more of the sulfur funk from the sherry cask in there, and that turns me off of it a little bit. I mean, it used to be my go-to sherry dram, and now for that price point, and then it's just, to me, it's not what it used to be 5, 6, 8 years ago. And there's better stuff.
I almost pulled an iron root.
Just I was gonna be like, oh, Mike's ruining.
But with a Glencairn, I tell you what, what I found is, I would say it's 100% substitute. I can get the Glendronach 12 very regularly. Yeah, inexpensively. Our Costco had it for like 40 something for a long time, and I would pick that over Macallan 12.
Yeah.
Oh, I would agree. All right. Bunnahabhain, 46.3% alcohol by volume on this one. Ooh, rich, more baking spices. Molasses cookie smoke. Oh, shoot. A little bit of seawater. And a light
Which one are
orange.
you going with, Patrick?
Which one?
Yep.
The
Torchak.
Yeah, Torchak.
Horseshack.
Okay.
Yeah. Not the 18. Not the 18.
I didn't get to grab that one, so I've got the 18.
Okay.
Oh. Ooh. And
Yeah,
Oscar, we did not use any of your samples in this stream because we're going to be doing them all as one. We'll probably have Oscar on for that stream, but we're waiting to see if we can get a rep or a distiller to come on from Highland Park to discuss the many samples of Oscar Madison.
That sounds like a made for TV. The many samples of Oscar Madison, starring Meredith Baxter Burney and Jillian. Special appearance by the ghost of Bert Convy.
Oh. All right, here.
Yeah, it's just peat and sherry and oak. It's just nice.
Oh yeah. To me, because of all the other ones we've had more recently, I'm finding this one to be a little bit flatter than some of the other ones. Like there's not the richness of depth of fruit in this that I just screwed my world up. Like as far as that goes, but I'm just it seems
It's not
a little duller to me. Like a few less flavors coming through on this for sure.
It's definitely less intense than certainly what we've had the last couple.
Right.
But the oiliness and the sweet fruitiness that I get on the palate, that cuts through.
All right, I'm going in on this one. Oh, this is much more like a Lafroig for me on this. I can't peg which one. It's the flavor of peat and smoke through part of this with the medicinal note that ties into it. Okay.
And you got to say what song it is.
Just a nice hint of like lemon and orange zest. A little bit of furniture cleaner. The barrel note is really nice on this. And it has just a nice sea salt kind of running through the whole thing. What song is this one? Van Halen. Dirty Moves.
Dirty. I'm going with Pound Cake because it's got a little bit of throwback to what you're used to, and then there's a little something new. You know, it's got the Van Hagar in there because it's not the Buna 12, which I love so much.
Yeah. Well, the 18 is like all salted caramel and apple for me, and I'm going Drop Dead Legs.
Oh, that's a good one.
The salted apple I really get now that you just mentioned that. It's almost like an over-salted caramel apple.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, last one.
Last call.
Last call, Octomore 6.1 Scottish barley, 5 years, 167 ppms at 57% ABV, right down the dot on that one.
Yeah, they've really toned the Octomore down. I think I know the 10.1 or the 10 was in like the 90 ppms, and I haven't seen the 11. I think they're still cutting it pretty low.
They were
lower
doing a thing
than what they normally do.
Where they were showing where, depending upon where in the process you measure the ppms, there can be a difference in how it can really affect what comes out at the end. Like you may only have a 90 ppm, but due to how it's done, it could actually taste a heck of a lot peatier than one that has like one like this 147 or 160. Right. Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna get some water.
And the cuts they're taking too. I think Brooklighty's taking some narrow cuts with their some of their whiskeys like this.
It tastes for as scary as you and afraid as you're supposed to be. As like what Oscar said, a big dog whiskey where you hear Octomore and you think, oh, like when you hear Peat Monster, you're like, fuck, hold on, I'm kind of nervous about getting into it. And then you do, and you're like, this is not at all what I had been expecting. This is way more friendly and less aggressive than what I thought I was getting into.
It's less aggressive that way, but it's like stepping into a Ferrari as far as the notes. I mean, you just get whoosh, all these incredible notes come whizzing at you.
I'll say this, it's bright. Ooh, and it's overwhelming on the nose, like
See,
right away for me.
but I don't get overwhelming peat.
No,
To me it's very sweet. It's kind of like it's like peated honey.
Yeah.
peated honey with lemon.
And
Yes,
vanilla,
lemon.
and you get the citrus and.
Ooh.
It's just very malty. I mean, it's
Yeah.
very malty.
I would not get, like, if you said, here, what do you think this is? I wouldn't say, oh, that's got to be an Octomore, because it doesn't knock you on your ass. And that's what that's what I expect. I mean, Octomore, it's like, yep, that's Octomore.
I mean, and for me, my experience with Octomore, and this is what I've told people, if you can't find it, you can't afford it or whatever, go pick up a Port Charlotte, because it's Octomore Light. You're getting those same flavors, a lot of those same notes. It's just toned down a little bit, but it's still, you're having a very similar flavor and note experience to what you typically get out of Octomore.
Mm-hmm.
Man, but I could spend all
I'm getting like this.
Oh God.
Tilled earth, like someone through the fields, and it's like this wet black dirt.
Mm-hmm. In that palate, I get the peat, and I get the ash and leather, and more fruit, but then it's smoked meat. I get smoked meat on the palate. It's
Smoked meat and cheese.
oh yeah,
Some
cheese.
cheese.
That's
Yeah, this has got that gorgonzola blue cheese kind of funk going on.
yeah.
I got a hit of licorice in there too, or more of an anise, like biting into an anise seed.
Now that you said that,
Kinda
you just
note.
ruined it for Pat.
Yeah, I know.
This is
almost-
50% annis.
It was just in the gin basket as we did it. Just
You could really taste the anise.
motherfuckers.
Get some licorice and rub it on our teeth.
Okay, we're going back in here just because it's just neat. It has a really nice oily viscous note to it. It coats, it leaves, and it just has this nice brine flavor that picks up through it. A little bit of the barrel note on the back end, not as much as the brine comes through for me.
And I
But
do
it's
not think it holds up to water.
No, honey, and it's like we said, like a honey lemon brine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it's yeah, that's right, John. That's right, John. Yeah, it's ugh. No, now I'm scared to go back to taste this again.
We need to do something where we make mustaches out of black licorice.
Gives you the Sanchez, but
This-
it gives you a reach around too.
And I'm getting like a baked bread note. This is okay. This is one that's higher up on my list just because it has a lot going on and it's bright and it keeps your attention and mindset moving. Like, wow, it's drying on the sides of my tongue right now too. Holy crap!
And
Hold
Emily
on.
Chambers, it is goodness. That's a good question. Yeah, it's more anise to me than fennel.
Same here.
All right, now we have gone through a wide variety of stuff so far tonight.
Let's go whiter.
What?
I'm kidding.
Whiter?
Did we give this one the song yet?
Oh,
Oh no.
I think
Panama.
I did.
This is Panama.
Mike, what's yours?
That's a good question. I thought I honestly had thought about Panama, but I think I'm going with Jump.
I can
Same
see
era.
that. I like that. Fun.
Again, the extended version.
Yep. I just get the intensity, those intense drums in Panama. and that's just
Yeah. My favorite drums though is the opening for Hot for Teacher, because that cranked up in there the way he had. I don't know if it was on purpose when he did that, but it sounds like if you've ever gone to an NHRA drag race, it sounds like being near a top fuel dragster when it's fired up. The way it's doing that, and then with the little misses and stuff. I used to crank that shit up in my old Dodge Ram Charger and just acted like I was sitting there at the line. So great.
That's awesome. All right. Which one is the winner out of all these for you? Which one do you think stood out amongst the rest? And I'm gonna try to fix
out because that's kind of.
Hold on, I gotta do my camera thing. So you guys figure it out for a second.
Okay, everybody leave.
Yeah. Deck out when you I mean, I'm an Octomore fanboy, so it's hard to diss on the Pete. That single cast nation was that was one of the. I think that might be the most interesting to me out of everything tonight, because so many funky turns. That's one I would love to just really take time and explore for a while. Maybe the Glendronach. I don't know. It's between the Glendronach and the Isla blended, the single cast nation. Those two really just stood way out. The Octomore 6.1, I personally prefer the 8 series that I've had over this one. But it's still really good. And the Kilchoman, I mean, honestly, they've all been pretty freaking exceptional.
Oh, well,
so.
I think everyone knows that what we're looking at here, there's not a bad one amongst what we're talking about. That's the thing here, is we're talking about what one amongst a bunch of really good whiskeys stood out. Yes, Mike?
I thought of another question that I'll ask before we end. But okay, so I'm looking at this list, but and there is no Glenlivet 12 on here. There's no, there's no, I don't want to say average because I don't want to call it average, but let's say beginner Scotch. Okay, is that fair?
That's fair
term? So these are all nicer Scotches. So, but to say that one of them, they stand out in their own way. But if I had to pick from 1, 2, 3, 6, so I got it's 6 of them on here, but one of them you guys didn't try, because I honestly would have picked that one. But of the 5 that we all tried, that was the same basically. Which one would be like, hey, this is a good Scotch. I want you to try this good Scotch. Something that I would grab and share with somebody. I would say the Glendronach.
Oh, by far. I think that's the one that if you were going to appeal to the most amount of people, that one is going to hit home across a lot of boards.
Yeah. I mean, the Octomore, this is a sweeter Octomore than others that I've had, which is, that number is 2 others. But I could see it, and like Kilchoman, and some people, you give it to them and they go, oh, if it's not their thing. But I don't think anyone's going to get offended by Glendronach, Pete head or non-Pete head. I don't think anyone would get offended. I think anybody would find that it's sexy.
Yeah, I think if I were to take your approach to this, and I say, which one of these am I going to go buy a bottle of right now? I'm reaching for the Glendronach 21. That would be the one I'm going. If I want to have a bottle of this on my shelf, out of all of these, the first one I think I would say I want to have is that Glendronach.
I think it's accessibility. It's just its depth of fruity flavors is.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's unparalleled, but it is very unique in the whiskey world to get that depth of fruit flavors in a profile.
And it's just
I think I have to agree with Ben. Like the single cask nation one, I think that's the one that you would want to spend more. That's the investigating whiskey. That's the one you're going to want to spend time with. You're going to want to have a cigar with it. You're going to want to just have another night where you're just having a drink with it by yourself and really get to know it, because that two whiskey blend is really created a plethora of different notes that we weren't getting in some of the other, like the Kilchoman or a little bit in the Octomore, but it was just a different flavor profile than the Octomore.
Okay, so I just went wild here and added a splash of the Glenfiddich 19, that Madeira cask, that sweetness to the Octomore.
Oh,
I can see how that would
Son.
work.
That nose is phenomenal.
I should have saved them all and put them all in one blend. But
Oh, you mean like this lovely glass?
yeah?
Oh,
you
look.
were on it by now.
Patrick was on it for once.
That's,
Yes, there we go. We got one here.
Okay, so while you're drinking your
Ooh.
blend, here's my question. Of these, well, I guess we had 7 whiskeys. Okay, looking at the list of 7 whiskeys, what album is this? What Van Halen album?
Oh, that's a challenge right there.
See, I started thinking about the whole. Oh, wow! The overall blend of all of these,
Yeah.
is actually pretty damn good.
I could imagine.
It's not as it like hints at the depth of dark fruit from the Glendronach, but then like fades into the briny fun notes and brighter kind of citrus notes afterwards. That's pretty damn good. Oh man, this is such a
1984, because they're all hits.
I was gonna get close to that.
Just loaded, man. That's a loaded album.
I thought of that just because everything came out, but because of I would like looking at it saying these are overall strength. There's a lot of depth. Things that there's a lot of every one of these has something about that kind of blows you away.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going with Van Halen 1.
That was gonna be what I said, like the original one where it all hit. But I'm gonna lean more 1984. Just like you said, everything's just fucking cracking it out of the park on this one. Ooh, yeah. It's brown sugar, cinnamon, weird, different finish that I hadn't gotten out of some of the other ones here. The overall blend is actually pretty damn exciting. I dig that.
I think I got enough left in these glasses. I can kind of make that.
Did you do that equal amounts roughly?
Sort of. Like for the most part, yes, but there was 1 or 2 that were a little light. And I couldn't tell you what one after I started setting them to the side. I stopped paying attention.
Holy crap, man. I think that Glendronach just takes over the nose. I'm just getting all sherry. I get a tiny bit of. I'm starting to get a little bit of a.
No, I got it.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting a little bit of like a medicinal, or not medicinal, but a seaweed kind of peatiness. I'm guess is coming from that Isla blend, but it's mostly the Glendronach, the sherry just.
I'm surprised how much the sherry is beating out some of the other dark fruit notes and some of even the light ones.
You know,
I get a
things
little
we-
bit of
That's right, Mike. You
from the
start
Madeira.
pouring.
I know things we do for science.
Get to work.
Oh, I'm working it, girl.
All right.
Ain't nobody leaving till the blend is made.
Yeah, weird. You get a little even funk in there that you didn't get before.
Oh, slap your grandma, man. Come on. That's just good. Holy cow. Oh, and you know what?
And,
After you swallow on the finish that Kilchoman, that cask char, that just kind of all of a sudden just slowly kind of unfolds and is just lingering there after everything else is gone.
It like beats out the clove and cinnamon spice and anything else. It's just like that was what was so sharp in that one comes as like this subdued background, like dark flower that erupts through it. That's awesome.
Yep.
Come on, Mike.
That's freaking
I'm
gorgeous.
trying. You know, I was being really nice. I had these tiny pours, trying to save everything, trying to savor, be a responsible citizen. I should have known better.
That's like you should know better, Long Rod. You've had issues in the past.
Listen here, John Holmes.
We're having a hard time believing what you're saying. But yeah. So, while Mike is catching up, let's go over. We lost David DeFazio, the Faz. He's not on tonight.
The Foz.
Faz? Sorry.
Fozzie Bear.
Faz.
You guys, we lost the Foz. Hey.
He's maybe he'll come on like that.
Yeah, do you have a leather jacket?
He's not here tonight.
Got a
He
nephew named
rescheduled. He is going to be here on October 19th. On Monday, we're going to redo the whole thing. He'll be on. It'll be all good. We'll go over stuff, and we're going to hear about his past, because that's actually a pretty nice story. But October 12th, next Monday, for all you fans out there, and John, who's been waiting patiently, we're going to be talking to Gary from Woodhat. We're going to be going over the Bloody Butcher, the Bloody Dapper, and the Montgomery County, the first all Missouri whiskey?
All Missouri.
Barrels, every single thing is from Missouri in that one.
Or Missouri if you didn't pass the 6th grade.
Oh, Missouri. Then after we have on the 26th coming up, Martin Duffy from the Glencairn Glass Company, who is celebrating their 20-year anniversary. He will be on. We'll be talking about him, who he used to be with Diageo, and I think he was,
all right,
to get back, I think the master of Scotch something. It has a really neat name. He was in charge of all sorts of stuff at Diageo. And then after he comes on the 26th, November 2nd, Steve Akeley from the ABV Network will be on. So there's our next month. Short, abridged, all in there. Hopefully I have bought Mike enough time to make this one.
So I do have my first whiskey is more sherry heavy and more proof than your two. But it is, man. I mean, even with all the peat that's in here, those two sherry hitters they're really taking over.
Mm-hmm. Emily Chambers, we are not sure about that yet. We were working on our own, but we will ask Martin about it, or who to put in touch with right at the main company, and we'll see about some of these My Whiskey Den glasses you're discussing, and when they can come out to the people so that you guys can get one, because they are quite lovely. Ben got one for us, and they are worth every damn penny because I didn't pay for them.
So what you're saying is,
I'd pay for them anyways, but they're even better this way. Okay, so the blend is okay, but I don't find it to be as exciting as it's just it almost became just a nice drinkable whiskey for me. Like, it's complex, I think, but nothing is really blowing the sides out for me. You know, like, I think the Glendronach and the Single Cask Nation were a little bit more, I don't know, they grabbed my attention.
Yeah, this basically, for me, when you take a sip, it's like Glendronach on the front end, and then all of a sudden it just takes that left turn and becomes Single Cask Nation on the back half.
It is soft sherried peat.
Yeah.
And but it's
Silky.
the afterwards. It is oily, and but then afterwards, it's after you've had it and you still have all the sweetness, then it's like, oh, here comes the proof. it's gonna get you.
It is.
It's still all that Kilchoman on the finish.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's a neat, and it's actually a few different finished casks that are coming through in a lot of these that are playing some different notes. Like, I think the sherry, I think the Kilchoman cask is a bit of the red wine that you're getting, flavor profile wise, because now I am getting that on the finish of it. So I don't know, fucking fun stream. I was glad to drink all this stuff. So and we didn't know Nancy was stopping in. I mean, we kind of had a thought she would, but we got to make room if she wants to. If she wants to stop over, I hope everyone in the chat understands that. We'll do that from time to time. And actually,
candy.
Oh. Ben, Mike, and I are sending her some samples of craft whiskeys we found this year that she hasn't had anything to do with, and we're going to have a stream where she comes on and discusses what she thinks about some of the ones we've sent her. So we'll see how good our palates are compared to hers. We already know their failures compared to hers, but we're going to see. We're going to see if we're at least in the right line or right ballpark of what we're aiming at.
Maybe we should say, just give us a pass-fail.
Just give us a pass. Okay, I think I like that.
Not a great.
PE. We got 56%. We're over 50. We made it.
I just want to graduate. I don't want to repeat because I couldn't run the mile.
But
I'll intentionally fail just to go through her class again.
Oh, no kidding. I'd love to take her class. I would absolutely love to take her class.
Yeah.
But I think that's good. I think we set up what's coming up. We've finished off this stream. We've had a few drinks. And
just a couple.
I think that's good. So we will see all of you lovely people next Monday. Stop in. We'll be going over, like we said, next Monday is Gary at Woodhat. We have a review. I don't remember who we all even did reviews of this past week. Does anyone remember?
No, I think they're out already.
I don't know. We'll see.
No,
I think there's.
there's.
Oh, Charleston is coming out in a couple days. I was going to say the Charleston distilling one.
Tequila?
Oh, yeah. Tequila in a couple. Yeah. We got a few different ones. There's some tequila out there. But not failures. You're undefined. And as always, we'll end on Emily's nice jab.
You're saying we're plasma, Emily.
Because it's accurate.
Hey, Emily needs her own special glass, but it needs to be like black leather.
But I just want to say thanks everyone for stopping in. We appreciate you stopping in, drinking some nice fine whiskeys with us, and we will see you guys later. Remember to have a nice safe weekend. Don't do anything too crazy, and remember, don't get down. It's not the size of the den you have at home. It's the love of whiskey that matters.
Yeah, and rest in peace, Eddie.
And rest in peace, Eddie. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.